In July 1944, news headlines across the empire have cried out for what was perceived as one of the greatest military disasters after the Second Weltkrieg and a humanitarian outrage not seen before. Mexico, recently liberated from years of syndicalist oppression, had been invaded by USAS forces who, after overrunning their own brothers in a year-long civil war, were hell-bent on spreading the blood-red tide of their own totalist ideology further and further. First, Canada fell, and Mexico was under threat. A multinational peacekeeping force, made up of combined divisions from many Reichspakt member states, had braved the treacherous submarine-infested waters of the East Atlantic to oppose the Red Menace. Yet, they were ill-prepared for the ferocity of the enemy, who sent wave after wave of radicalized fanatics against their stalwart defenses. The complete disregard for the lives of their own soldiers, combined with a surprising amount of attack aircraft, overwhelmed the local command, and the slow, inefficient decision-making process of the diverse peacekeepers was unable to hold back against the enemy. Despite crippling losses, the enemy pushed forward driven by their ideological fanaticism and took Mexico City. The human catastrophe for the locals, facing the ruthless Red Horde, cannot be overstated. Cut off from supply lines, a large-scale rescue under the name of Operation Dynamo was conducted to evacuate Allied forces through the safer Pacific lanes, leaving their heavy equipment behind on the beaches. Yet tens of thousands have perished in a brave final stand or been taken to USAS labor camps. The Empire will have to react to stem the red tide, lest it overwhelms not just the North American continent, but launches its tendrils further into the world. Already, there are rumors on the street of Imperial soldiers fighting once more in East Asia after USAS infiltration and agitation launched a megalomaniac campaign by a rogue state to subjugate the recently liberated regions. Do your part at home. Report any suspicion of syndicalist subversive activity to the Staatsgeheimpolizei. While we are using the defeat of Allied forces in Mexico as a propaganda measure, it's time to get our house in order in Europe and exert control over everything. We've already had some rumblings in the Eastern European states, so something might need to be done about that. But first, let's deal with the Russian Federation and create a bit of a balkanization there, such that Russia by itself, even though Siberia has already been split off, is not going to cause any further trouble. There are naval invasions ongoing to deal with the last remaining Allied forces in Yucatan, and it seems like so far they are holding off the American attacks, but Cuba is probably going to be next if the spread into Colombia is already happening. So American forces have already landed in South America and are now spreading into Colombia. So the USAS totalism is further spreading. For now, we are fighting a somewhat muted military action ourselves due to the very low war support. The population at home is still reeling from combat casualties, and it's going to take a while for that to end. But we are, I think, at this point probably relatively close. More Allied forces are landing, and Vladivostok should not be a big problem to reach anymore. So let's have a quick look if we have the aircraft in all available areas. We can probably move 4 of the tactical bomber wings over to the southern air base here, and we're still fighting in the right air zone. Yeah. Let's clear the river position and push the enemy troops out from there while we're waiting for additional divisions to arrive, which will then we're probably going to send these north. Which will then be available for further offensive operations to link up with the Dutch. All right, river has been reached. Enemy troops are immediately counterattacking, and we again have Greater Austrian armored divisions in the area. They clearly have some objective, but let's see if we can get the 42nd Infantry across the river line before any kind of enemy counterattacks happening. We'll pin the forces in the north. And with that, we should be able to isolate Khabarovsk and assist the Dutch in taking the city. So let's get that. Yeah, we have successfully managed to cross. So we'll wait for some reinforcements of the 4th Königlich Bayerische, and then we will launch the assault on Khabarovsk. In fact, we can probably take the airfield in the south already. The Dutch positions are being cleared that they had initially taken, are being cleared by enemy forces, but that should not be an issue now that we have managed to get across the last defensive line on the river. I don't think there's any further supply. There's only the port. And with that, we can probably expand the lines towards the north. And we've got additional forces coming in to clear out the northern positions. Khabarovsk has been isolated and can now be cleared of the last defenders. There's only one division. They are putting up a brave fight in the urban environment, but with strong air support, it's absolutely no chance. Of any kind of resistance here. They're still mounting some defenses along the lines here. So I think we will have to clear the north before we can make further moves, but we have now removed, and I am not sure which side the Austro-Hungarians are actually fighting on at this point. They appear to have military access in the Trans-Amur Republic, but they're not actively joining combat. So they have deployed some armored forces here, which is very suspicious. We might be seeing. Let's see if they resist. No, the United States of Greater Austria have their forces in the area, but they are not actively participating in combat. So if that's the case, let's isolate the last remaining forces in the north there, and we can deal with the southern positions here as well. I think we are going to extend. We're going to get a few more divisions. Get this one as well. We're going to get some divisions already along the southern line towards Vladivostok, and start planning out the final push of taking down the remaining forces here. We actually have clear. We have clear front lines. The enemy divisions are too few in order to successfully actually hold the lines here, which means we can start moving through. And now that the Austro-Hungarians are there as military observers, I'm still suspicious of the amount of forces that they've deployed. We'll be using the momentum to break through towards the coast, and Colombia has capitulated. These are dark times indeed. So very, very rapidly, the USAS forces have overrun the defenders. But we've got some allied peacekeepers in the area, but it doesn't look like they've been able to do much. They're still holding Yucatan, but we will see for how long. And Cuba is launching assaults against American forces to liberate Cuba. And again, imperial soldiers are not yet committed, but we may have to do so at some point. The war support is increasing very slowly, so our propaganda measures are taking fruit, and we can. Do we have anything else? We can launch some war propaganda in general. We're already running the heroism campaign, so there might be. There might be some options here that we can still take in terms of propaganda measures, and we have completed the Russian Federation. So after victory in the Eastern Front, we established a new Russian state, but simply defeating Russia in war is not enough to ensure that it will never challenge us again. We will rewrite its constitutional system, turn it Byzantine and convoluted, and promote the interests and identities of its numerous ethnic minorities. So, we're balkanizing the whole place. Let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm not. There might be decisions now. Let's see if there are any decisions available. Doesn't look like. So maybe this is just an internal destabilization and causing the causing internal problems for them. They have a fair amount of available manpower and are starting to build up some divisions. So Russia is definitely one to keep an eye on. Next up, now that we've done that, we are waiting still for the Mitteleuropa decision to come. We are holding the presidency, so I think we can establish the Directorate of Enlargement, and we can, even though the general support seems to be for arms experts, but I think that is probably what we can choose if we can get sufficient support behind it. All right, not going to go down the 50% plan. We're still trying to get the French to take care of the occupation problems that they're having, but we can deal with the little territory in the meantime, and then switch over to reestablish control at home. So let's make that happen. And I think we are about to finish up the Trans-Amur operations here. Let's get that one division destroyed that is trying to break out. Additional Ukrainian troops are moving. And have we broken through towards the north here almost? Enemy troops are not moving, so we'll also isolate the divisions that are trying to escape there. And we can probably already start. From Nikolaevsk is not a good attack, so we'll not pursue that too much. But we are getting across the river line. Troops have been wiped out there. We'll sweep south. And improved aircraft engines have finished. Was that the last thing we've been waiting for the America bomber? I think heavy bombs is probably something we're going to need. Yeah. So this would be heavy bomb locks, and I think that's something we're going to need still for that plane. So let's use a different researcher at this point. Push them back here. Start the assault from the south and from the north simultaneously. And we are going to need the air support now over the new air zones. So let's redirect the planes. In fact, we have taken a local airport that we can use as well. So planes moving over, and we have full aerial superiority. The Luftwaffe is taking care of these things. We are going to take the port of Imperatorskaya and Gavan, and we have some divisions along the southern line we can use to push towards Vladivostok. And I think there is actually reasonably little opposition, so we might as well just begin moving already. In the north, we are just completing the encirclements here, dealing with the territory. And we can actually reinforce the southern lines here already. Right. Isolate the troops in the mountains. We probably don't have to completely destroy those. Urgent news from Berlin. The Reichskanzler has resigned. Mere days after the promulgation of the Schleicher constitution, Schleicher announced his shocking decision to resign and retire. Though the masses and even the average member of the National Unity Front were surprised, his closest associates could tell that this was a long time coming. For over a decade, Schleicher has battled pernicious anemia, a fatal disease for which an unreliable cure was only recently being developed. As early as 1930, his doctor informed him that severe overexertion could lead to him dying in 6 months or less. Still, with the best medicine that the German Empire could cover, he endured the sickness until it finally became too much to bear. The Schleicher Circle will thus be required to continue the national revolution by themselves. Few believe Schleicher has long to live. The decision on who will succeed him may shape the future of the German Empire for decades. Should another candidate from the Heer be appointed and strengthen the regime's grip, though Reichskanzler Ferdinand von Bredow? Or should civilian rule be restored and the National Unity Front be turned into a party for power, led by trustworthy bureaucrats and politicians, through Reichskanzler Karl Friedrich Goerdeler? Or perhaps Schleicher's vice-chancellor, if he has one, can calmly continue his directives? Who will be recommended to Kaiser Wilhelm III? Yes, we do have a vice who came from the socialist branch, and back when von Schleicher was doing his Querverbindungsthings. So we have three choices. We can get Ferdinand von Bredow, who would effectively create it into a uniparty. Germany already is, to a large part, with a popularity of almost 70%, a uniparty state. However, we could make it official, remove the need for elections, and have the Deutschnationale Einheitsfront lead the country. Effectively, make Germany a military dictatorship in name, even though it has sort of been already been de facto that. Or this would give us 10% stability and some intelligence bonuses. Or we could get August Winning in, who would be continuing effectively the whole thing. It would cost us some stability because he is more left-wing than, very much more left-wing than von Schleicher. Or we could get a technocratic government through Friedrich Goerdeler. So Germany is at a crossroads. I think August Winning is out as is out as a candidate, since he would be too in the current difficult climate. He would be too extreme. The empire is facing sort of two threats: a massively increased alliance that needs to be centrally managed, and that needs to be organized with a lot of potential for unrest. We've already seen this in Eastern Europe. So either we are going down the sort of jackboot path, with Ferdinand von Bredow would have been 100% a militarist, a military dictator. He would be a Ludendorff dictatorship resurgent in that manner. So the German Empire would become a sort of militaristic powerhouse with no further elections, complete destruction of any kind of civilian discussion, and complete unification under the threat of the USAS. This is the dark path that von Schleicher has been brought into, and von Schleicher himself, I don't think, ever wanted this. He has always been somebody who's been ruthlessly pragmatic, to the point that he would have no moral compass in who he's working with, and that has cost him dearly, because the right wing, or the extreme right that he's brought in, has while managed to get his dream of unifying Germany in a sort of more efficient manner coming to fruition, has also destroyed a lot of the civilian culture that's been existing before, with regular disappearances and all these kind of things. Von Bredow would be literally concluding this path towards a fascist military dictatorship. Karl Goerdeler is an interesting choice because he is a staunch monarchist. And he would have been somebody who's very much opposed to these sort of more excessive right-wing approaches here. So I think when von Schleicher sees his legacy, in the end, he was always the man of the Querverbindung, the Red General, the military man who would speak to the labor unions, and who would have contacts with everybody in order to facilitate things for his own means. So I think von Schleicher's wish would have been Goerdeler rather than von Bredow. So that's what we're going to go with. We are going to continue with Karl Goerdeler, who will have the mammoth task of keeping an empire from completely destroying itself politically, while having obviously extremely strong support in the government and no problem at all winning any kind of election, and having the whole Staatsgeheimpolizei beneath him with the propaganda ministry and everything else. So at the same time, he is a bit of a counterweight to the more excessive paths that can come out of this in terms of racial ideology and other things. So in that regard, I think Gördeler is the right choice here. Plus 15% political power gain is actually quite useful, because that is something that, although I would have taken the stability as well, but that is quite useful as well in order to facilitate a lot of things that need to be done. We've got a long laundry list of things that still need to be sorted economically and everything else. So Gördeler will be recommended, and we will see if the Kaiser will follow that recommendation. And he has. So Karl Friedrich Gördeler is the new Reichskanzler, and with that we're going to have the next election in April 1949. And Gördeler's task is then to use his absolute majority in the government to stabilize the country, and to stabilize the Reichspakt as well, to get the Mitteleuropa system under control. So he's got a lot of work ahead of him. First of all, continue with the little territory. We have infiltrated the civilian administration in the USAS, so that was done, which means we can probably now begin infiltrating the army in the USAS. So who do we have? We'll send the same team. We've got Giskus and we've got Polyakova available, and we will be starting an infiltration of the USAS armed forces. Right, that brings us back to the situation in the east, where we are controlling most of the starting to control most of the territory, and we just have to organize the march onto Vladivostok, which should not be a huge amount of trouble, because we are already moving to surround the last remaining divisions here and to break these positions apart. And we can, I think, also move south from here. I'm not sure if Vladivostok is still defended, but we're cutting off the two remaining divisions in the north, and they will be destroyed, and then Vladivostok should be relatively open. The rest of the divisions are dealing with northern positions. There is still an encircled enemy division here. We will get these to surrender. These divisions have been encircled. So let's directly march onto Vladivostok and see if there's any resistance left, while dealing with the last remaining enemy divisions. And then I think we are in a relatively good position. I don't think the Trans-Amur Republic is going to last very much longer. And despite the fact that they're still holding some territory, I think once Vladivostok and Kamen-Rypolov in the north are falling, then this should be the end of that particular operation. It's not a war; it's just a special military operation. So Vladivostok undefended, and I think that should be at the end. Vladivostok has fallen, and with that, the Trans-Amur Republic has capitulated as well. The city of Vladivostok, the seat of the Trans-Amur Republic, has been captured by our forces, rising to prominence as the home of the Russian Pacific Fleet during the Civil War. The city became the seat of power for dissident Admiral Kolchak. Though much has changed since Kolchak first took the city during the war, the state that he has established from Vladivostok has held on to the modern day, not any longer. All right, so with that, the Trans-Amur Republic should be going to Siberia. So we are going to demand, and apparently we don't have enough nobody actually has enough war score to do anything. So I'm going to organize the return of the Trans-Amur Republic to Siberia. Alternatively, we might occupy it and release it as an independent state if the option arises. And this can be the position of Paulus's army in the east in order to control the Pacific and East Asia and have forces ready if needed be. In the end, it's been more expedient to have Siberia take care of the positions. They had strong claims and they have the better opportunity to deal with local unrest. So as long as they are a loyal member of the Reichspakt, this should not be a problem, and Germany will be able to. We've still got some bases in the area as well. But Germany will be able to position the army here. So with that, the Friedrich Paulus's 12th Army will become part of the Asian theater now, and they will be positioned around Vladivostok. So and we will be improving and along the coastline here. So we will be improving the overall. We'll be improving the overall infrastructure here quite a bit. Gives our civilian factories something to do. So let's see what the railways are looking like. Yeah, they're pretty bad. We are still reorganizing everything, but we're definitely going to need a railway line across the mountains in the Khabarovsk region. So let's get that already underway, just to make sure that we are connecting. And yes, we will be the whole Trans-Siberian railway system will need to be improved in order to supply East Asian operations sufficiently. But most of the railway system is already in a pretty decent state. So let's just make sure that everything gets upgraded to the point where we can. This still needs to be reorganized. But yeah, I'll get everything else upgraded to the point that we have sufficient supply in the region, and we'll probably. Yeah, we might need to strengthen that a bit, but right now the Qing government is friendly towards us. So if things go sideways, we might need a lot of these supply bases are relatively exposed, but we might need an alternate line in the north. To connect to the Trans-Siberian line here, just that is a little safer from Chinese interference. So we'll do that as well. And with that, we have reconstituted the Heeresgruppe Asien, and Ruprecht von Bayern, Field Marshal, will be taking control. And I think a lot of we will start also with. We do have some medals to award at some point, but we can start changing some of Paulus's infantry divisions into more modern mechanized ones at some point. For now, however, we've dealt with that, and we are going to launch some war propaganda to deal with the abysmal state of insecurity at home in the empire. So that's, I think, a good use of the newfound political power. And we also will need to keep supporting France. Let's send some more troops to France, and we will run some war propaganda to ensure that that's working. We are still losing convoys to enemy submarine operations in the Pacific, but we are in the Atlantic, but we are slowly wearing them down. And that was a good one. And we're starting to wear them off quite successfully. We do have the newly formed. We should have a newly formed patrol, newly formed patrol wings. But that was, I think, still under. That was this the one with the? That's the one with the Seeadler. Why is this wing so small? Can I change the size of that? I cannot. Okay, so it appears that these wings are of size 10 regardless. So in that case, we may as well go and start assigning them to assigning them to naval strikes in the region. Let's see what the range of the Seeadler is amazing. So they are extremely capable. So let's begin operations here. We've still got plenty of space in the airbase. However, we do need to upgrade. We are building to upgrade the airbase. Okay, are we building to upgrade the infrastructure? Yes. And we're building a radar station? Not yet. That will be needed. So maybe. There we go. Okay, radar station under construction as well, and we'll start getting the new patrol wings, because the range is absolutely massive, underway. And I think the last research for the America bomber was the heavy bombs. Yes, so that's also to be done, and we will be running massive aerial patrols to deal with the submarine threat. Some ships have become available after the fall of the Trans-Amur Republic, which had taken over the old Russian Imperial Pacific Fleet. So these old ships have been handed over to us. A lot of a few older submarines and a very few more modern submarines, but we have no shortage of submarines that are significantly better than these. So these ships will be scuttled or used for target practice. We have a few cruisers and destroyers, as well as the Poltava battleship. So if we're looking at that ship, it is a very old ship, and not sure how well this is a very old ship of the Gangut class. Not sure how well this is going to fare in any kind of more modern operations, but we will integrate them with the 4th Schlachtgeschwader in the Pacific to reinforce the Japanese ships, and as such we can build up this task force a little more for Pacific operations. The war against Australia by German East Asia has stalled as well. So given that we have a large amount of airplanes available from the 2nd Luftflotte, we may as well bring that force to bear. However, these medium bombers don't quite have the range, so I think we can bring probably 5 tactical bomber wings over. So let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those and deploy them to the airbase in North Queensland, and they will be running close air support in the air zone. What's the general situation there? We've got a few enemy fighters, but not many. I think the friendly fighters can take care of this, and we should be able to. We don't hold that airbase. Oh, we hold the airbase in the south here. Actually, we can bring some. Do we have? We've got 2 heavy fighter wings in the theater, so we can bring these over as well to assist with escort missions. So let's get the Luftwaffe involved in some support in the Eastern Australia air zone, and that should. Yeah, there we go. And I think we can get 4 more tactical bomber wings over as well. So let's get another 4 into the zone. Yep. And they will be on close air support as well. Right, with that we should have, and we have overloaded the, I think we've overloaded the airbase in the north slightly. So 1 of them returns. And that should, yep, that solves that. And from here on, in fact, there's a lot of friendly juggling of aircraft around. So we'll be slowly bringing bombercraft over. But I think overall, with that, we should have a crushing. Majority, as long as if there is any fighting on the ground, as there is now. We have 800 heavy bombers in the area that should be able to turn the tide on any kind of operations conducted here. We do still have some Marines from Halder's Marinekommando stationed in New Guinea, but I think overall there's some Australian counterattacks in the west. Again, we're trying to not to get involved too much here and leave German East Asia to this, because once again we're trying to reduce the amount of impact from the combat casualties at home. And we're starting to see the Seeadlers in action. I think 2 more submarines sunk here, and they are doing a lot of damage to these submarines. Yes, that is what we wanted to see. And they just have to they haven't really managed to sink one yet, but they are doing significant damage to these enemy submarines, which makes it a lot easier for the escorts to pick off these submarines once they are this damaged, and potentially force them to return to their home bases as well. Yeah, Colombia is falling. There are some troops, there are some friendly troops left, but it looks like the USAS has taken over very much there. And again, not something we are going to be dealing with at this point. We're not doing demobilization because I don't want random divisions to be removed, and we're not also sending troops to England because England is already compliant. It's just France that keeps being an issue here. That operation is going, and that means we can move forward. We can probably send a few more agents over to the USAS. I think San Francisco. We send Schulze to San Francisco, and we will send Polyakova at this. I thought Polyakova was in. Oh, she is preparing. Okay, so we can't send her, but we can send Agent Chamorro to Mexico, because I think that is, yeah, we'll send him to Mexico City. That is going to be vital as well. Kingston has actually been liberated by the looks of it, but I think the American counterattack is going to destroy that Ethiopian invasion very quickly, unfortunately. But still, the friendly troops are making moves across the Atlantic, and the Empire is just there to stabilize everything. Iceland is now having its own divisions, and all is well. In terms of demobilization, we are actually pretty good on troop count. However, we still have a relatively large force of foreign troops that are operating as security forces. I think that's something we can probably return to their respective homelands and decommission, and then we'll see where we integrate the remaining infantry divisions under list. We've got von Kleist's First Army, which is going to undergo further modernization into Panzergrenadier divisions, and we still have Walter Model's elite infantry divisions, where we can see what we can do as well. Going down the road, we have a fair bit of equipment. And yes, I think we're good. We're good in overall equipment. Mechanized equipment is starting to build up again. We're good in overall equipment to start upgrading some divisions here. And how many do we have? Yeah, we've got 46 divisions on Sonderkraftfahrzeug 256. Lots of modernization to be done there. But we'll start with Friedrich Paulus. We get some equipment to start turning some of his infantry divisions into Schützendivision for the Panzergrenadier template. And we've actually got a few infantry divisions stationed in Ceylon that are very much just security divisions, but we can very much upgrade these to. We can very much upgrade these to Sturmdivision for some more firepower. We do have the equipment, and they can run some exercises as well. Bringing us back to Germany, where we have the First Army. We are out of Panzergrenadiers. So what we can do is we can take the rest of the infantry divisions, and what is the infantry division template looking like at this point? It's not that bad, actually. So the only thing it misses is some recon, but we've got some good firepower here. Whereas the Sturmdivision has flame tanks, has the additional flame tanks, and I think that's pretty much the only difference here. Yeah, how are we on flame tanks? We tended to be a little low. Lights, medium, amphibian, flame tanks. So we've got 1,200 of them. So I think we can probably afford to change some divisions around. Change some divisions around to have a bit more offensive firepower. But all in all, these are okay. They're not that bad. So if we change these to Sturmdivision, yeah, we can probably change all of them, honestly. That would give that. Yes, we have enough flame tanks available. Then we've got Halder's divisions. We can change some of these into armored, although I do want to keep some of the infantry marines around for territory where that's not so advisable. I've got the mountain divisions, and I think we're starting to look good. And yes, I will clear out List's 7th Army, because I think these garrison troops are not necessary anymore. We are a more modern army with a more lean army. We'll probably keep a smaller amount, but we'll return the foreign troops home. Advanced light battery is completed, which I think just leaves the modern torpedo launchers, and then we can design. How are we on the hulls? Actually, we've done the modern light ships, so we're getting there to more naval refresh. The army we've got von Kleist's first army at this point, which is mostly stationed in Portugal on the Pacific coast. We've severely reduced List's forces that he had under him, and we've replaced them with more capable Sturm divisions. We've still got von Manstein's regular infantry, and that is sitting near the securing the Austrian border, and I think we can probably we'll turn these around as well into Sturm divisions. That means we have, I think, mostly replaced the regular infantry with the more capable assault infantry divisions across theaters, and we're mechanizing as we go, but we're still short on the equipment there. In the meantime, everybody who needs to can run exercises and make sure that we are ready for the next war. With that, we're still down to 150. I'm not sure that's correct. There may be the count might still be off, but that's something we'll deal with. Anyway, friendly troops still holding on in Colombia, and the Australian operations, despite the fact that we have brought massive air force to bear, seem to be relatively stalled here. The West Indies Federation has capitulated, dark times indeed, and the USAS are solidifying their control over the north coast of South America. So it'll be up to Argentina, which is embroiled in an internal conflict, to potentially salvage the situation there, but the empire has other things to do. New trouble is brewing in Central Asia. Afghanistan has been reported to be justifying the invasion of the Central Asian Federation. As such, this is an affront against the Reichspakt, and I think we will be deploying forces there immediately. We will have to check what the supply situation is near Tashkent, and it is not great, but workable probably. So let's deploy some troops towards the border preemptively, and ensure that, because I don't think these. Yeah, they have a single division, so we will need to support and ensure that Afghanistan will be taken care of. So troops will be deployed to the area. and we'll probably get some mountaineers, given that there are some mountain ranges in the east, but most of it is hilly country in Afghanistan, terrain for special forces. We're bringing some aircraft from the Luftwaffe in, and we have reinforced models divisions who are making their way, and I think I would like all of them. All of them on the line. Models divisions who are making their way to Afghanistan, and we have some of Fuchs's, General Fuchs's mountaineers, which are going to be facing off against Kabul. So these are the troops that we're bringing in. The terrain is not, and the supply situation is not conducive towards armored operations. So again, no impact on the motorized forces, but we're sending the infantry and obviously the Air Force in case that Afghanistan does anything silly. The first actions of the new Reichskanzler, with his newfound political backing, are going to be to complete some industrial projects in the homelands, with the hopes that this will improve his standing with the population at home, and increase the availability of goods for civilians, to make sure that our support for wars abroad is not negatively impacted. The little territory has been separated, and since it is unlikely that France will be able to pay reparations for all the damage it caused during the Second Weltkrieg, let's occupy the resource-rich surroundings of Lille and establish a resource extraction territory which will send all its production to the German market and allow us to profit. So that's done. And I think with that, we are pretty much through here. So the next up, we are still waiting for the the next Middle Europa elections, and the decision what will be the next action. I think it is time to build upon the Schleicher constitution, and complete the reformation of the German state. What can we do? We can consolidate Thuringia, and that gives civilian factories and industry, or we can declare the shogunate. We've taken from our Japanese friends here a little bit, in order to cement the social role of the army, or we can proclaim death to German syndicalism, which I think is the first thing we're going to be doing. The new Seeadler have, launching from the Azores, have located an American destroyer group in the Mid-Atlantic Gap, relatively close to our port. There might be some threat coming out from the Americans, but friendly destroyers are already en route and have engaged the enemy ships. The enemy destroyers as well as the convoys are disengaging, but the Americans have lost 9 destroyers in that action. 5 convoys, F-3 destroyers have managed to escape for shooting down for the loss of one naval patrol bomber. We might have to start looking at launching more patrols out of Ponta Delgada in order to secure the region better here. But we do have the 3rd Schlachtgeschwader stationed there, which is currently engaged in probably another anti-submarine action. Yes, they are again engaged in anti-submarine action. So if any enemy shipping makes its way through, then this should not be a problem. However, we do need to enact some repairs on these ships at this point, I believe. And the first is still waiting, I think, for the refit of SMS Elsass. Reichspakt divisions have arrived at the border to secure against Afghani aggression. This is probably triggered by USAS insurrection, which is trying to cause trouble in the Central Asian heartland. We have Luftwaffe assets in the area, and we can start, I think, already with some recon flights over Afghanistan, and start figuring out what's going on there. We have some backup airports, probably out of range, but where we can send additional assets to support if necessary. Heavy bombs have been completed, and with the support of the Luftwaffe, there has been another invasion in Sydney. The Netherlands have taken Sydney after the initial Hawaiian troops had been defeated, and German East Asia, with the support of Luftwaffe planes, is now aggressively moving south in order to capture the all-important eastern seaboard. So we'll see how far Australasia is. They're still fighting. Canberra is still under enemy control. We'll see if the Dutch can break out from Sydney, but holding the port here is essential, and we are seeing additional ships moving around with forces to support that. But yes, last thing we're probably going to be doing this episode, while we are slowly rebuilding our support for further military operations, and our flying boats are starting to do damage to enemy submarines, to the point that we are now starting to sink them quite successfully. So yeah, I think the age of the happy times of American submarine operations in the East Atlantic is over, and we can design ourselves an aircraft that we are going to be using against the United States, or the USAS rather, from air bases in Greenland. We're starting with the Advanced Large Airframe, obviously, and we'll see what we need in terms of, we're probably going to see if we can get away with 4 engines, and we definitely want the extra fuel tanks for increased range. And I think, Gotha Waggonfabrik is the right choice here, so let's use them. Then we do want large bomb bays. Did we? I thought the research from the heavy bombs, or was this for heavy bomb locks? Not sure. This might not be strategic. These might be tacticals. Okay, in that case, it wasn't actually unnecessary. Anyway, so we will be using strategic large bomb bays, as many as we can possibly fit into this aircraft, because these aircraft will be, when they are used for strategic bombings, they will be doing an incredible amount of damage. So that's what they're for. And that is going to be the ME Messerschmitt design 264 America bomber. All right, strategic bombers. Obviously, we're going to need all the most modern electronics that we can get. So radio navigation, we're going to need bomb sights, and we're going to need air-ground radar. Yes. Is air-ground radar should be assisting? Air-ground radar, subsurface, strike bombing, yes. And it reduces the night penalty. So with that, and we still have some space, so they can fit some twin heavy machine gun turrets, and then we'll see what the thrust isn't going to be enough. So we're going to have to go with 6 tuple engines, and yes, that if we are on mission, that will be enough. So 6 engines, strategic bombers, absolute massive amounts of distractions, and it is more than fitting to give the equipment tag to the America bomber. These are extremely expensive to produce, so we will be focusing a lot of the industry. What can we upgrade here? No, we don't want the jet engines. We want the regular engines, because it's all about range. So regular engines it is, and that is the Messerschmitt 264. So let's see where we can pull production, where we don't need it anymore, because we are starting to massively increase the strategic air fleet and the Gotha Waggonfabrik, obviously. And we might have to construct some additional military infrastructure for that. We're probably not going to need that many factories on the Seeadler. So let's see. Yeah, we can wind down the production of the Dorniers. We will replace these eventually. So we'll wind that down to 10 for replacement, and the Seeadler as well. And we are going to probably need about 50 factories on that. We've got a good stockpile on heavy fighters, so we can wind that down to 10 as well. Tanks, we already have wound down production quite significantly. We can reduce the. We're going to leave the factory specialized on tank production. Probably reduce it down to 20, and with that we are. We are getting close, but we are going to need to import some material, specifically aluminium from the French. No problem there. And we're going to need rubber from German East Asia. And with that is sorted. And we are going to need a few more military factories. So let us build. How about the little occupied territory? Okay, there's already construction underway, I think. But we've got a few areas where we can add additional military factories across the empire to support the build-up of the strategic air fleet. And this is Siemens Schuckert. So here we are. Here we can get speed and agility for medium planes. Yes, we're going to take that. And then we are going to look at, getting, this is still way ahead of time. This is way ahead of time still. We can get improved air launch torpedoes or large cannons. Yeah, I think we are pretty much done here with the electronics. We've got a few more things to do here. So let's do some industrial measures. In the meantime, we'll do construction, complete that. We've almost got the carrier hull done as well. And once the dual purpose and the modern ship torpedo launchers are through, then we can also schedule production of modern shipping. So right now we are in a Cold War with the USAS and potentially some police action in Afghanistan, and we've seen American convoys operating across the Pacific. China is still very much embroiled in a civil war against the various states. So we will see how that ends up, and if that will lead to a unified China. And you never know with the Donau-Adria-Bund. In fact, we might just station some forces along the borders here, just to make sure there are no, to make sure they don't get any funny ideas. So let's bring some modern armed forces to the border, just to secure against any kind of potential intrusions from the United States of Great Austria. And with that, we have a new Reichskanzler. We have a new Goerdeler now in power, and we have still many challenges, but the Cold War continues against the USAS, and we will see how their expansion into South America fares and how the colonial operations of German East Asia in Australia are continuing. The war itself is never over.